all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and welcome to this daily morning podcast from Bloomberg Quint. I'm Neeraj Shah filling in for Alex Matthews. Let's get started. US stocks slumped with tech shares leading the declines. Trade pessimism blunted any kind of optimism around the US Fed being closer to cutting rates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped 43 points to close at nearly 26,000 levels, while the S&P 500 ended its trading day 0.2% lower, with the Nasdaq Composite sliding nearly 0.4%. Oil prices sank 4% on Wednesday, with losses accelerating into the settlement after the US government data that is earlier showing a large increase in US crude stockpiles for the second week in a row. The latest sign of rising supply comes as the market continues to grapple with concerns about weakening fuel demand amidst the ongoing US-China trade war. One thing I can tell you, Indian bulls are not complaining. India's retail inflation accelerated though in May as food prices continued to rise from unusually low levels. However, core inflation remained subdued due to weak demand conditions in the Indian economy. Consumer Price Index inflation, or CPI, stood at 3.05% in May, compared with 2.99% in April, according to the data released. A Bloomberg poll of economists had forecast the retail inflation at 3.05% in May. Despite this pickup, CPI inflation remains well below RBI's target of 4%, leaving room for the Monetary Policy Committee to cut rates further. A panel set up to review the central bank's economic capital framework will meet one more time this month before it finalizes this report. This committee, whose recommendations could potentially lead to a transfer of funds from the Reserve Bank of India's balance sheet to the government, is yet to reach a consensus on the amount of capital that the bank needs to hold. Remember, the former RBI Governor Bimal Jalan-headed panel was unlikely to recommend a large transfer of RBI's reserves to the government, as a Bloomberg Quint report had mentioned earlier. In company-specific news, the BSE and NSE will impose trading restrictions on Jet Airways shares from June 28th as part of preventive surveillance measures to curb excessive volatility. Well, better late than never. In the circular issued yesterday, NSE said that Jet Airways shares would be shifted from the rolling segment to trade for trade segment. Remember, Jet Airways shares are trading at record lows, having fallen over 60% year to date. Speaking of markets, Asian markets have started off weak following a weak US session. The early risers were trading in the red the last time I checked. It's now over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup in India. Good morning, Darshan. How's it looking?
Hi Neeraj, good morning everyone. Global cues are okay at this point of time. The SGX Nifty is indicating a slight negative outlook currently. But lots of stocks that we need to watch out for. Avenue Supermarts had their analyst meet yesterday. The company said that they are following an aggressive approach with a focus to grow volume. The company said it will drive margins by operating leverage only, and they will focus on higher volume in sales and improvement in sales mix. In terms of other stocks, trading in Jet Airways will be shifted from rolling settlement to trade series. No contracts will be available for trading with effect from June 28th. Reliance Nippon AMC, there's an OFS. The promoter Reliance Capital plans to sell 2.86% stake in the company. There will be sale of 1.75 crore shares, and that's at a floor price of 212 per share. Kotak Mahindra Bank, the interest rate on saving balance up to Rs 1 lakh stands reduced by 50 basis points to 4%. Mangalore Chemicals and Fertilizers, they have restarted the ammonia, urea and ABC production with effect from June 12th. They restarted in view of onset of monsoon and normalization of water supply. The production was stopped on May 14th. In terms of bulk deals, Fidelity acquired 2.7 lakh shares in Hinduja Global. Westbridge AIF acquired 4 lakh shares in Hindustan Food. 6 Cents Opportunity Fund was the seller. And Vanguard sold in 48 lakh shares in KPIT Technologies. Now, two important brokerages. First of all, it's UBS, which has downgraded IndusInd Bank to a sell from a neutral and cut the target price to 1400 from 1700. They believe that the credit cost is likely to exceed expectation, leading to a downgrade. And UBS believes that lending to non-investment grade companies is higher than expectation for IndusInd Bank. For Yes Bank, they've cut the target price to 90 from 170. They've maintained a sell. The expectation of a sharp turnaround is less likely to fructify. They expect a 225 to 200 basis point credit cost in FY 2021, which is higher than the management guidance of 125, and the NPL seems higher than the current expectations. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you will be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks for that, Darshan. Well, and on to some cricket developments or cricket updates. A final decision on Shikhar Dhawan's availability at the ongoing World Cup will be taken only after 10 to 12 days, as he's too precious to be ruled out just yet. This is as per India's assistant coach Sanjay Bangar. Bangar also informed that Pant is being summoned so that he can train with the team and be match ready in case Dhawan is ruled out of the tournament. Remember, India will be facing New Zealand at Trent Bridge in Nottingham today. There is a forecast stating that there is a 90% chance of rain. Let's just hope we have a good match, which India ends up winning. Thanks so much for tuning in today.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.